For the next 10 seconds, do nothing. Say nothing. Just imagine the person you want most to notice you standing 3 feet in front of you and hold your gaze steady as you count down in your head. 10, 9, 8, 7. Feel that tiny urge to speak, to reach, to fill the space so the moment doesn't die. That urge is the raw material of sexual tension. If you can learn to breathe through it, to shape it instead of killing it with nervous action, you can turn ordinary rooms into charged rooms and ordinary interactions into alive ones. If you can't, you'll keep trying to manufacture with volume what only space, timing, and presence can create. Tonight, I'm going to install in you a way of moving that makes tension inevitable and ethical. Magnetic without manipulation, dangerous without harm, heat with a thermostat. No tricks, no corny lines, just a rhythm women recognize as rare, calm leadership, selective curiosity, precise language, and restraint that makes the air hum. Let S start with the one truth most men skip, because it isn't clickable. Sexual tension is not electricity you find. It is pressure you shape. It is the deliberate gap between what is felt and what is fulfilled. It is the dance between safety and risk, between clarity and ambiguity, between what you could take and what you withhold because you are choosing pace. Think of it like a violin string. Too loose and the note dies, too tight and it snaps. Your job is to keep that string tuned, firm enough to vibrate, soft enough to sing. That's why the men who get this right seem to do so little. They aren't doing less, they're doing cleaner. Their presence carries proof that they can feel desire without needing instant relief, and that single trait flips a primal switch in the feminine nervous system. This man can hold intensity. That's where tension is born. Before we touch technique, we draw the frame. Tension without safety is threat. Safety without edge is friendship. To be irresistible in the long run, you must provide both in the same moment. She has to feel that your desire is unashamed and your control is unshakable. That combination is rare because it requires self-governance. It means your words and body are led by the same person. No pressure, no tests, no games with trauma. Consent is not a line you step over with a signature. It's the feel of the entire interaction. You create a greenhouse, not a wildfire, warm, oxygenated, lit just enough to grow something alive. Now the engine. Tension begins in your breath. It sounds unromantic until you realize everything else rides on it. Fast breath equals fast mind equals fast hands. Slow breath equals slow mind equals slow, intentional hands. If you want her to feel more, you go first. Drop your exhale, loosen your jaw, let your shoulders fall a centimeter. A lower breath lowers your voice and slows your cadence. That change alone makes silence feel like a choice, not a mistake, and silence is where tension lives. You can't rush a flame into being. You can only give it oxygen and wait. Presence is next, and presence is measurable. It's how few times your eyes leave her face to scan the room. It's how still your hands remain when you aren't touching. It's how you allow 2 beats of quiet after she answers before you speak again. It's the way your sentences shorten as the moment warms, because subtext becomes more honest than explanation. Presence is not a performance. It is the absence of self-rescue. You stop trying to save yourself from feeling by doing. You let yourself be felt while not moving. That is terrifying for boys and home for men. She can tell the difference before you cross the room. We are going to build sexual tension in 3 arenas: the room, the voice, and the body. Think of them as layers that stack to produce a single effect. The room is timing, proximity, eye contact, and environment. The voice is language, cadence, silence, and laughter. The body is posture, touch, micro-escalations, and endings. When these align, you don't need a script. You can improvise without losing the frame. Start with the room. Tension begins before she arrives because you design for it. Light that doesn't blind. seating that angles you toward each other without trapping, music that supports, not steals, temperature that lets skin relax, personal logistics that remove friction, water within reach, a surface clear of clutter, a phone out of sight. You think this is filler. It's signal. It says you can lower your guard here. Without that signal, her body will choose vigilance over sensation, and no amount of charm will fix it. Eye contact is the room's electricity. Use the rule of thirds. When you first meet, let your gaze sit on her eyes for 1/3 of the time and float to her mouth and hands for sparse, noticeable moments. As the connection warms, move to a half the time in her eyes, the rest on the nearby space. Her mouth during a laugh, her hands when she speaks with them. Late into the night, when you feel the thread pulled tight, you can hold eye contact for longer stretches and then break it first with a slow smile, a small inhale, a glance to her mouth. What you are doing is teaching her nervous system that being seen by you is safe and that you choose when to increase intensity and when to release it. Never stare to dominate. Look to invite. The difference is felt in your forehead. A relaxed brow invites. A clenched one challenges. You don't need a mirror. You need breath. Silence is the room's architecture. Everyone talks about what to say. Few men study how to shut up well. Hush is where her attention floods in. You ask a question that matters. What did you say no to this year that kept you sane? And then you let space grow roots. The instinct is to rescue her with another question, a joke, a story about yourself. Resist. 2 beats, 3. She will fill it when she's ready, and what she pours into it will be weight-bearing. When she finishes, don't lunge, let it land. The micro-delay you hold becomes the taste of your presence. Steady, absorbing, unthreatened by feeling. Tension is not only sexual, it's emotional. You build sexual tension by proving you can hold emotional charge without dispersing it. Proximity is the room's lever. You learn how to inhabit distance like you mean it. Across a table, you lean back when you want breadth, forward when you want depth. Standing, you angle yourself so you are not squared off like a challenger. Slightly oblique creates possibility without pressure. When you walk, you set a pace she can meet without feeling chased. When you sit beside her, you leave one hand visible and loose on your knee. Every choice whispers the same sentence. I am here by choice, and I could be patient all night. That patience is the source of the charge. Impatience is a thief. Now the voice. Words are the paint. Cadence is the brush. If you want to create tension, stop trying to impress and start trying to compress. Shorter sentences, fewer adjectives, more precise nouns. That color on you is trouble. Lands because it's specific and playful. You look amazing is air. Don't stack questions. Ask one that adults answer. What are you proud of that took you years to earn? Your tone drops and slows naturally when your breath drops and slows. Don't fake it. Don't push baritone. Honesty sounds better and travels further. Use subtext like a scalpel. You don't need to say, I'm attracted to you. Your eyes already did. You can say, you have a dangerous focus when you listen, and let the rest hang. You don't need to say, I want to kiss you, until it's time to ask. You can say, I'm ending the night while it's still bright, and she hears, you have boundaries and you want me. Subtext is the shadow that gives shape to the light. Too much shadow is confusion. Too much light is blunt. Balance makes heat. Humor is the pressure valve. Tension without laughter hardens. A small joke at your own expense, never at hers, can reset nervous systems without dissolving the thread. You trip over a word, you smile and say, my brain sprints sometimes, I prefer walking with you. You're not auditioning as a comedian, you're protecting play. Sexual tension is adult play. Without play, it becomes a test. Language discipline prevents you from breaking the spell. Avoid crass commentary on her body. Praise what her body does, not just how it looks. The way you slowed your breath when I slowed mine. Keep doing that. I like how you hold eye contact and then break it with a smile. Describe behavior. It's more erotic because it proves you were actually there. It also invites more of what you want without instructing like a coach. Adults don't want coaches in desire. They want mirrors and music. Now the body. Everything you've set up with room and voice collapses or compounds with your body. Posture first. Stillness turns your edges from noise into signal. If you fidget, you tell her nervous system you don't trust yourself with feeling. If you can be still when the room warms, you tell her nervous system it's safe to bring more. Keep your spine tall, your shoulders soft, your feet planted. Relax your hands. If your hands are calm, your energy is calm. She feels that before she hears anything. Touch is a language you speak in syllables, not paragraphs. You start at the edges, a brief touch on the mid-back when you steer her through a crowded doorway, the outside of the elbow as you sit, a hand offered palm up to help her stand, your knee brushing hers for a second and then away. Each touch is light, respectful, and reversible. You don't hold on, you don't cling, you don't make her manage your need. You place, you read, you remove. Consent is woven through the grammar. Your eyes check, your hand arrives slowly enough to be seen. You pause if the signal is off, you smile and shift without drama. Micro-escalations create the staircase. Think of a sequence with 4 rungs: presence, proximity, touch, voice. Presence deepens when your eyes stay and your breath stays. Touch appears in those small, appropriate places and then disappears. That is how you climb without forcing and how you avoid collapsing a night into a grab for certainty. They overstay because they fear the magic won't rebuild. When you feel the night crest, say the truth in your voice, not in a text after midnight. If the moment asks for a kiss, you ask in 5 clean words, "I want to kiss you." You hold eye contact a second longer than comfort, not to dominate, but to honor that it mattered. It teaches both bodies that your desire moves on a spine, not on panic. Now let's put all of this into living scenes you can try on your next date, because tension is a sequence, not a slogan. You pick a corner with 2 chairs angled slightly toward each other. You say one precise sentence that costs nothing and buys truth. You have a way of noticing the sentence no one else saw. You ask one adult question. What did you say no to this week that made room for something better? When she laughs, you let your eyes dip to her mouth and back up once. That's the first stroke on the string. Later, as you walk the aisles, your hand grazes her mid-back once to let someone pass. You don't leave it there. You don't apologize. You keep walking. Your body says, "I can touch without taking." When you part ways, you end on a high and propose a next step with specifics. Another scene, a small jazz bar on a warm Thursday night, and give her the seat with the better sightline. You are host, not waiter. Your phone does not appear. When she answers, you smile slowly and say, "That explains your eyes." When the moment asks, you say, "I want to kiss you." If yes, you meet it. That sentence is gasoline for tension because it proves that your pace comes from you, not from pressure. You end on a high. "I'm closing while it's bright. Sunday at 6, I'll steal you for coffee." The night texts you in the morning because oxygen and clarity breed desire. You invited her to cook together because cooking is an adult playground. Hands, heat, timing, laughter. The room is ready. Counters clear, music low, knives where they belong, a towel over your shoulder. You share space without bumping because you move with awareness. When you pass behind her, you say, "Behind," with a smile. The way people do in real kitchens, it's playful and protective. You hand her a taste on the back of a spoon, not the front, because it's less intimate and more suggestive. You wait a breath after she tastes before you ask, "What's missing?" She says, "Acid." You grin, co-conspirator. Your forearm brushes hers and leaves. The string tightens. When it's time to go, you clean together in a rhythm that feels like a future. At the door, you choose honesty. That was easy in the best way. Let's do it again. Thursday, 7. If the moment asks, you ask to kiss. If not, the hug is warm, brief, and you step back first. Restraint writes memory. You do not drip attention like an IV to keep a balloon in the air. I'm still thinking about how quiet everything got when you paused before answering. If she orbits vagueness twice, you step back. No flounce, no speech. I'm in when calendars match. Silence. Tension survives because you refuse to bleed it out for reassurance. You say, I like how you build small civilizations while you decide what you think. You grin, my letters look like they were late to class. I'm working on it. You let her throw a glove and you toss one back with a smile. Play keeps tension, and it also protects you from turning intensity into solemnity. Desire needs oxygen, and laughter is oxygen. Clothing and scent matter because they tune your instrument. Wear fabric that makes you want to touch yourself, not sexually, physically. Cotton that moves, linen that breathes, a jacket that feels like a decision. Scent that smells like clean skin with an echo, not a cloud. Your schedule builds or breaks tension over time. Protect your mornings, block deep work, train your body, call your mother or your mentor. Build a life with edges so you never need a lie to seem rare. When your calendar has bones, your yes has shape. She feels safe because your time tells the truth. Let us talk about common mistakes so you can avoid them without needing to learn the hard way. Tension needs space. Imagine a film score that plays at full volume from the opening scene. You stop hearing it. You need crescendo and rest. Apply that to touch, to texts, to talk. Sparse, precise, behavior-focused. The third mistake is weaponizing indifference. Withholding warmth to look cool is a teenage move. Adults bring warmth and boundaries at the same time. The fourth mistake is bargaining with your standards in the moment because you were afraid to lose the night. You will lose something far more important, self-respect, which is the generator of your signal. The fifth mistake is turning consent into a legal ritual rather than a living texture. If asking feels clunky, practice until it doesn't. I want to kiss you, in your voice, will become one of the sexiest sentences you know. Tension invites, pressure corners. If you ever feel her bodyguard, you change direction and slow down. Nothing is lost by honoring that moment. Everything is lost by forcing past it. If you want to train this daily so it becomes your default, adopt a 3-minute practice that builds the muscles tension requires. Stillness, breath, and subtext. Every morning, stand barefoot, shoulders soft, jaw loose. Inhale quietly for a count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Do that 5 times. Then practice the 2-beat rule with yourself. Ask out loud, what do I need today? And hold 2 beats before answering. You are teaching your nervous system that silence is a choice. At night, write 1 precise sentence about something you noticed in someone that day. Not, she was nice. She stabilized the room when she lowered her voice. That habit will make you precise in dates. Precision is erotic because it proves presence. Now a sharper edge because tension thrives on contrast. Selection. You cannot create sexual tension with everyone. You must be willing to walk away from rooms that punish presence and reward chaos. You choose women whose pace, humor, and edges fit yours. You do not try to convince someone who wants a show that reality is better. Let people who need noise find it. Your job is to cultivate quiet power. Quiet power is incredibly loud to the right ears. When you move like this, rejection becomes information, not injury. That change makes you bolder in the right ways, clearer invitations, cleaner exits, warmer centers. Here is a compact operating system you can whisper to yourself before any date. See, slow, select, invite, breathe, read, hold, end. See the person, not the type. Slow your cadence so she can meet it. Select for fit in the first 10 minutes. Invite with specifics. Breathe together without announcing it. Read the signals she gives and stop guessing. Hold the edge just below fulfillment. End on a high while there is still oxygen in the room. If you do those 8 verbs, tension writes itself. Let S run one last full night from door to door so you can hear how this sounds when lived straight through. You meet at a small place with a courtyard. You get there early, choose a table with a view of a tree because living things soften eyes. When she arrives, you stand, hug like a grown man, sit so your bodies are angled and not squared. Your phone stays in exile. You say, you carry yourself like someone who knows where she's going, and then you let the sentence breathe. She smiles and tells you about a decision she made that morning. You ask, what did you trade for that? Silence. She thinks, she answers. You listen without fixing. When the server comes, you look them in the eye and know their name by the time they leave. She notices because women always notice how power treats people with less power. You ask, what do your friends count on you for? She says something true. You nod and say, that explains why your shoulders drop when you're certain. She laughs because she hadn't noticed. The thread tightens. Halfway through, you reduce distance by an inch. You rest your forearm on the table so your wrist is closer to her hand, but you don't reach. You watch her breath. It slows. You slow too. You tell a short story with one sensory detail, not a monologue. I used to run at night. The city smells different after rain. She adds a memory. The music changes and you don't comment. You don't narrate. You let the room do some work. When there's a moment to shift, you say, walk? She says yes. You stand, you offer your hand palm up to help her from the chair. She takes it. You release after 1 second. You walk at a pace that lets your shoulders accidentally brush once in a while. When a cyclist passes too close, your hand finds her mid-back for a heartbeat and leaves. You're not a hero. You're present. At the corner, you stop by a mural. She looks. You look at her. You say, there's a mischievous look you get when you're redeciding whether to say the thing. I like that look. She raises an eyebrow. You add nothing. The nothing hums. She fills it. Later, near her door, you tell the truth with clarity. I like this. I want to see you again. Sunday at 6, the bookstore you mentioned. If the energy asks, you say 5 words. I want to kiss you. If yes, the kiss is present and brief. If no, your smile stays. Good. I like our pace. You hold her eyes for 1 second longer than the urge to look away. Then you go. You do not text from the car about how amazing it was. You text the next day, referencing a precise moment, inviting a precise plan. Tension breathes, stretches, sharpens. What happens if you misread? You will. You'll speak too fast. You'll over-explain when silence would have sung. You'll touch a beat early. The fix is not apology theater. It's a small repair. I rushed that. You smile, you slow down, you let the night find its rhythm again. Repair is hotter than pretense. It proves you can feel without collapsing. Guard yourself against counterfeit tension. Mystery theater, where you withhold information to look deep, backfires. Teasing that targets insecurities, not behaviors, bruises. Pseudo-dominance, where you try to control decisions she should co-author, suffocates. Alcohol as a shortcut to warmth is a trap. It blurs the very signals you need to read. Drama as fuel burns fast and leaves soot. You don't need any of that. The clean version is always stronger in the long run. It asks more of you and gives more back. Better women, better nights, and a better relationship with your own reflection. All of this will mean very little if you don't let it change the way you live at noon. Sexual tension at midnight is a byproduct of integrity at noon. Integrity looks like kept promises. No one saw a body you take care of, because a regulated nervous system is a gift to the people you touch, a calendar that reflects your values, money decisions that make your no affordable friends, who sharpen you mentors, who can tell you when you are drifting a room at home that feels like a decision. When your life hums, you hum. That hum is what she is drawn to before she can name why. If you want one vow to carry out of this, let it be this. I will not try to buy connection with speed. I will offer clarity, space, and selection. I will make my attention expensive and my presence generous. I will ask in 5 clean words when a moment deserves it. I will end on a high and leave oxygen for the next chapter. I will build a life that can hold what I'm asking for. Say it once, then live it. Sexual tension is not an accident reserved for movie scenes. It's a craft. It's the art of holding a charged space between 2 adults who can breathe. It's the way you look and then don't speak, the way you invite and then wait, the way you touch and then release, the way you end while the room is still bright. Learn that craft and you won't need to be louder, smoother, or richer. You'll be rarer. A man who can feel and not flinch. A man whose pace makes the night lean in. A man whose silence says, "Come closer," and whose restraint says, "You're safe." That is the texture women call chemistry. That is what you can start creating tonight with nothing more than breath, presence, and the courage to hold a moment instead of filling it.